Today I'll be attempting to take the Ran to Japan channel global as I battle it out on the racecourse against some Japanese warriors with a free trip abroad on the line. The stakes are high, but with some recent 200k weeks in the bank, my mileage is even higher. So can this marathon monk take victory on foreign soil? Let's find out. So the good news, after that little injury scare of my knee, I seem to be completely recovered, back into training properly, hammering the big mileage, and it's only up from here. We're going for those 300k weeks this time. So the comeback's definitely underway, but the bad news is the silver medal curse may be returning. In last week's video, I got second place in that full marathon. And if you remember last year, I went on a hat trick of 3 back-to-back weeks getting second place. I called it the serial loser streak because it's win or nothing out here. So I've got to crush the streak quickly, put an end to the silvers and take the win today. Now you might remember one of those silver medals last time was at this race called Shimada Oigawa, and the reason I picked that one is because the prize for winning was a free trip to Singapore for the Singapore Marathon. And obviously I ended up losing that, but I've come for redemption because in today's race there's another trip abroad on the line. So that's what we're running for today. The time doesn't matter, I'm obviously not in the best shape, still coming back, but I think this race was won in around 66, 67 minutes last year, so it should be about perfect where I'm at the moment. So it'll be a good benchmark to see how much slower I've got since Tokyo Marathon. And I had a rough idea of my current shape after the session earlier in the week. So I thought before charging into half marathon, I should probably try and knock out a few reps at half marathon pace. Oh, this weather is so grim. I do not want to get out for this workout. I absolutely hate the rain. It's why I moved out to Japan. The UK winter, it's like this for 6 months. You don't see the sun, it's just grey skies, but I've got way too used to the sunny Japanese weather. So this is a painful reminder of the UK. I don't think I could ever move back home because of it, but I've got to get out, slog it out. It's not going to be fun, but it's got to be done. God, this might be the least up for it I've ever been for a session. It's so miserable out here, but I've got my first session in over a month actually, since before Tokyo. I'm gonna hit up some 2k reps around Yoyogi, aiming for 8 of them at around sort of half marathon effort. So a good bit of prep before the weekend. The only positive, I guess, with the rain is that Yoyogi's nice and quiet because this area has been a nightmare recently. So because of Sakura season, everyone's been flocking to Yoyogi because there's tons of the flowers out. And you're not gonna believe it, all these tourists have tried taking over my sacred running ground for their photo shoots, taking a whole bunch of pictures with the flowers. Oh, disgraceful. It's like they don't realise that Yoyogi Park is the holy grail of running in Tokyo and we don't have any other options, so this has caused a bit of trouble. I've had to try and switch up my routes, but luckily today was alright. So getting going with this session, it felt pretty quick at first, because yeah, I'm definitely not used to that speed work. I've done a couple weeks now of jogging, building back up, and literally at the end of that first 2k, my calf was absolutely killing me. Like it was very close to the level of having to just pull the plug there, call it a day on this session, because I thought I was about to tear it. And it's like what I've said before, after some time off, I find coming back is just injury danger zone. Like this is gonna sound funny, but when I'm running 250k every week, like in that consistent flow, it's nearly impossible for me to get injured just because my body's so conditioned, so used to it. The problem comes about when I've had time off, like for this knee injury. That sudden change in volume and intensity, when I suddenly try and come back and hit something quick, everything starts hurting. So I've just got to try and battle through this phase, get back to the consistent big mileage.
Oh no, had a little accident there.
Lovely and muddy out. You know what, when I got going, it actually wasn't too bad. That's always the thing with the rain, it's so grim starting, I'm like freezing cold, but when you get rolling, it's actually all right. And it was pretty good in the end, averaged around 308, 309, just even pace. So I kept it pretty consistent, and I'd say I could pull out maybe a 66 on the weekend. We'll have to see, that could be good enough for the win. I guess it just depends who shows up. There's always some secret weapons in Japan that can just pop off. So I'm gonna have to pull something pretty solid out the bag. Now before we head over to the race, I know everyone loves a Scran to Japan segment, so I'll just throw this little one in there for you. All right, coming at you with some random Scran of the day. I think one of the best things about Japan, already the convenience stores are next level, but then every couple of weeks they switch up all the stocks. You get these mad flavors coming in, and there's these little potato crisp things that I'm a big fan of. They've brought out a tuna mayo flavor though. It sounds so weird. I thought I had to try it. You know what? It tastes just as you would imagine, just like a tuna mayo sandwich, but in crisp form. Yeah, so weird, but they have nailed the flavoring. So I guess I can't really complain. That is tuna mayo crisps. Probably won't be getting it again. And I can't imagine this flavor is going to be staying around for too long. But one thing that is incredible is the pastries. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I think Japan's bakeries might be one of the best in the world. They love putting these little twists on some classics. So you might have heard of a Kuini Arman. I think it's a French pastry. So nice. But here they've gone for the strawberry buttercream version. At the moment it's like strawberry season, so all of the products are strawberry related. And then next month it will be a completely different theme. So you're not stuck eating the same thing for a year. Like back home in the UK, the Tesco's just sell the same shit flavors all year round. Whereas, oh, get a piece of that. Got that crispy, sugary top with the strawberry cream in the middle, fluffy pastry. This one's an absolute winner. I'm gonna give it a 9.2 out of 10. The tuna mayo crisps, I'll give it a generous 4.6. So that's your quick Scran to Japan update. Now back to the running stuff. So I was just laying my kit out for tomorrow, getting everything ready, make sure I'm looking fresh on race day. And then I noticed something that doesn't exactly look the best. So warning, this is some pretty grim content coming your way, but I've got to keep it real. This is the damage of marathon training. It's what happens when you're pounding those pavements every day. This is what happens to your feet. Oh yeah, beautiful stuff. So the big toenail's looking a little bit grim right now, could be infected. I've lost that one about 8 times. I've given up hope. This one's probably on its way out as well. And that's just one foot. That's one of the side effects of the Marathon Monk lifestyle. I shouldn't be giving out free foot content like that. I should be saving that for the OnlyFans, but it's your lucky day viewers. So don't say I don't treat you guys, but apologies to anyone being violently sick now after witnessing that monstrosity. And what's mad is I've actually gone up about 1.5 shoe sizes in the last year or so since massively increasing my mileage, just because your feet expand after hammering the concrete every day. So there's plenty of room in those shoes, but they're not exactly looking the best. But now moving swiftly on to race day. So I was hopping on the Shinkansen heading over to Shizuoka Prefecture for the Yaizu Minato half marathon. It's always good fun getting to travel for these races, and on the train I was getting my classic breakfast in. So I found the convenience store pancakes, maple and margarine, absolute banger. Sit well in the stomach, good bit of carbs, and then I paired that with some sushi. It's not the fish kind though, so I played it safe. I think it's like tofu skins, it's sort of sweet, so that goes down nicely. And then also a shot of beetroot juice. If you don't know, good little performance enhancer, the beetroot juice. I think it's a vasodilator, so the idea is that it increases your blood flow and then obviously helps you run quicker. Whether it works, I don't know, but yeah, I take it. And apart from bright red piss, there's not exactly any side effects. And then a black coffee just for that caffeine boost, and that's your job done, ready to go. So I was welcomed to Yaizu with some pretty grim weather, but at least it felt like racing at home. Right, I guess that midweek session was good prep for this because it's been pissing all morning. Not the best weather, but you know what? We can handle it. I've seen much worse growing up in the UK, so this is light work. And today there's only one option. It's the win or nothing. So the prize is a trip to Mongolia. I think it's like every age group winner. So like under 30, under 40, under 50. But realistically, being an under 30, I'm gonna have to win the overall race probably. And I can't say I'd ever planned to go to Mongolia, but you know what? If there's a free trip going, then I'm not gonna say no. Great excuse to travel. So hopefully I can pull off the dub today and get that little holiday. So I got out for my classic 5K warm up, then drills and strides, and it was time to head over to the start line. Oh, I started absolutely chucking it down. Lovely stuff. I think the problem with trying to film now mid-race, you might not be able to see anything. It's probably going to blur up, but I'll try and get a few clips. We'll make something happen with the head cam. And in the end, the footage was usable, so it was all good. An improvement from last week when my camera died after 100 meters. Absolute rookie error, so I made sure not to do the same again. And I noticed looking around on the start line, there was quite a few legit runners. So whenever you see uni runners, in Japan, like most of them are sort of 62, 63 guys for the half marathon. So I had a feeling there was going to be some pretty good competition here. So I played it nice and safe. I think recently, especially because I'm coming back from injury, it's much better to just start off conservative and then I can always pick up. But if I overdo it slightly at the start, then that kamikaze style could hit me badly. So I'm cruising through the first couple Ks. I knew that sort of 309, 310 pace should be doable after the session midweek. So that's what I started out at. And the course was dead flat, easy running. So coming up to 5K, I managed to reel in this little group here and they were knocking out sort of 310 pace. I thought, yeah, that's perfect. We'll jump in with them. Because I always say it's so much easier if you've got a pack to run with. But I knew realistically this wasn't going to last long because every single Japanese runner is going to run a huge positive split. That's just how it goes out here. So if they're starting out at 310 pace, they're probably going to be finishing at at least 320, whereas I'm ideally going to try and pick up. So I knew I was going to have to leave them at some point. And at around 9K, I felt like the pace was dropping slightly. So I started to work my way through pick up. So at 10K, I'm actually getting a little excited here. I'm seeing 302 current pace. Solid heart rate as well. I'm always able to get my heart rate way up. And I know I can hold that 180 plus for, well, at least a half marathon, but even Tokyo was pretty much the entire marathon. So I'm used to operating right on the limit, and I'm just trying to reel in the bodies up ahead. So there's plenty of runners that have gone off pretty hard and are going to be slowly coming back to me. And I'm just trying to pick people off. The fishing rod is out. I'm just seeing prey up ahead, but it's pretty nice motivation. It definitely feels better running it this way, moving past people. And then at 12K, we had a turnaround. So there's a few of these throughout the course. It was quite good. I could see how far the front guys were ahead. And maybe at this point, just past halfway, the leaders are probably a minute and a half at least in front of me. And there's quite a few big packs. I'm thinking, right, I'm going to eat that ground right up. Crunchy munchy, time for lunchy. And I catch up with a big group here with one of the runners who actually knew we've raced a couple of times before. And I actually start dropping some sub 3 minute Ks here. So I get a little bit too overexcited, but I hate when people latch onto me, like when I move past them and they try and jump on for a free ride. You ain't having that, son. So I decided to just kick straight on and move on to the next big group. They were a fair distance away, but I thought I could start reeling them in, and I'm probably inside the top 10 now. So I'll pick off one more straggler from that group who are actually the second pack. There are a couple guys further up the road who I'd lost sight of. I was now going at around 3:05 pace. That's a 65-minute half marathon. So I was cutting it down pretty nicely here, but they were still moving at a good pace. So I thought that I'm just gonna have to try and win this race. Like, these guys are my targets. The front guys are long gone, but I've just got to try and take this pack out. And just going past one of these aid stations, the cheers were crazy. So I thought, boom, I'm hitting the gap. Let's go. Look at the pace here. So I get so overexcited. It's like a final kick. Get down to a 2:46K, which is way quicker than my 5K pace. But I've basically put in a surge here to try and drop them, because I thought that's the best move I have. Instead of just sitting on the pack, if I can accelerate straight past, then they might just sort of give up. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. So immediately they react and cover my move. So I tried to just sit in behind this leader. I think there's maybe 4 of us in this little pack, and they've accelerated massively just when I've come up to them. I can feel the lactic sniper taking aim. It's starting to kick in now, that little burst of acceleration. And I was hanging on for dear life here, but with about 500 meters to go, they put in another surge and I just couldn't hack it. And I'm absolutely caning it, giving it everything, but they're just drifting slowly away. So fair play to them. I think I used up all my energy just trying to catch up with them, so then I couldn't react again once they made the move. But I held it together pretty well, so coming across the finish line here in 66:13. So obviously I didn't win the race, but that doesn't necessarily mean I haven't won the trip to Mongolia, because I don't know which division these guys are in, so maybe I've pulled off a miracle. We'll have to wait and see for that.
Ah, お疲れ様です。ナイスラン。お疲れ様です。ありがとうございます。
早稲田ユニバーシティ。
ああ、そうですね。今卒業したけど。
僕も早稲田です。
あ、本当。
今大学院生。
あ、大学院生。すごい。僕早稲田で1年間だけ日本語プログラム知ってましたけど、今終わりました。
たまにアカウント見て、ストーリー見てたら。
あ、そうそう、YouTube です。ありがとうございます。ありがとうございます。YouTube ですね。女子ランナーチャンネル名前ですね。はい。はい。channel 見てください.
No, that was great fun. The standard this year was way higher compared to before. I think last year it was one in like 66, 67. Whereas this year, I think because there was a free trip to
一部卒業します。どうでしたか今日？
まあみたいな。
天気ちょっと悪いですね。
でも走りやすかったですね。
はい。風なしなので、
ノーウィンドで。
はい、大丈夫ですね。お疲れ様です。
At least we didn't get second. The silver medal curse is broken, but still no dub. Got to wait a little longer. I think this year, because there was that free trip to Mongolia, you suddenly had loads of sick runners show up. Right, I've got to get warmed down quickly, get some clothes on. I'm on the brink of hypothermia right now. It was right once I was running, but now absolutely freezing. Look at my hands. They've gone yellow. It's the old hypothermia kicking in. So eventually after my warm down, the results had come up. So let's see where I finished in the under 30 category. Oh, third place. So I was 45 seconds off the win. I actually know the winner, Abe. I've actually trained with him quite a bit. He's part of the Puma team. Solid run from him. He got 65:30 or so. So if only I've been a little bit better shape coming into this, that Mongolia trip was mine. But I guess off one session in the last 2 months, that's not a bad result. 66 low. And I think I missed the award ceremony. It looks like they're packing up. So maybe I'll have to get my prize sent later. So if I do end up getting sent any random prizes, then I'll unbox that on another video. But big up everyone for watching the video. We've got plenty more bangers on the way. So if you're new around here, don't forget to subscribe. This has been Jake though with Run to Japan. Remember, train harder, not smarter.